Hopefully this time this works. Welcome to episode 76, guys. This was meant to come out earlier than it is releasing. You're probably listening to this on Wednesday night or Thursday morning because I recorded this episode 3 times, not realizing that my microphone was never on. That's very frustrating. Luckily, there is a recording, so I could go back and look at my notes. However, the files don't intermingle in this program, so it becomes one of those things where I'd have to edit really hard to do and go back and match up the sound with the actual stuff I'm showing you. So I'm kind of avoiding that. So I'm just going to re-record this, and it may be even a bit better now since I've done kind of the 2 run-throughs on this. And I still am not very good at this microphone thing, but hopefully I figure this thing out sooner or later and be a little bit more tech savvy. With the microphone, at least putting the microphone on is good. And I probably shouldn't have worn this shirt either because it's cutting off my arm. So it looks weird. So hopefully you guys don't mind that. But let's get into it today. First things first. If you're not following me yet on Instagram, Special One Cards, special, spell O-N-E, cards on Instagram. Subscribe to my YouTube, like it, share it. Also, my Instagram, please do the same. Share also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever you can do to help me. I would really appreciate it. The last month has been incredible for me in terms of views I'm getting on my Instagram account and the stuff I'm putting out. So I'm putting out a lot of content, which is great. But with more content comes the expectation that you will release content constantly like that. So I'm going to do my best to do this continuously. Obviously, I'm trying to do something special, hence the name, Special One Cards, get it? But without a lot of you guys supporting, I wouldn't continue to do this. So it's been great thus far. Adjust this mic a little bit more. It's been great thus far to do this. And, keep those messages coming to me. You have questions sometimes. I don't know everything. I wish I did. If I did, I'd be a multi-millionaire, but I'm not. But I can certainly learn in the process with you. And you can also give me insights that, maybe I should look at to educate the hobby. Now, September 27th, for those that don't know, in Clark, New Jersey, at the Clark Recreational Center, there will be it's called the All Soccer Cards and Collectibles Show of New Jersey, hosted by Hooked on Soccer Cards and Sack Cards. Two really good community ambassadors for soccer cards, all soccer cards. It's going to be awesome. There are people coming in internationally from the US. Tables have sold out, which is exciting. I will have a table too. I'm just not sure how much selling I'm going to do. I'll probably have a lot of, we like to call them value boxes, call them $1 to, $10 boxes, stuff like that. I'll bring some Nev stuff just to show it off a little bit for people to take a look at some of the stuff that I do have that I've acquired. And you never know. Some of that stuff could be for sale. It might be. Never know. Albert, also, shout out to you. You won the prize, I think it was last month. Instead of mailing this to you, I'm going to give it to you at the show. I think it'll be better to have that in-person meeting and give you that. So for those that don't know, I did run a contest last month. If you listen to the podcast, you'd find out. Had something to do with base cards. I can't particularly remember exactly what I did, but he won. He was able to do that. So congratulations to him. So I'll see him at the show. And you also get another shout on this episode, Albert, because of what you purchased. I think you had the best purchase I've seen in months, I think, especially right now with the craze of the soccer card market. You guys probably saw the news of Card Ladder actually had the data, but Fanatics posted it that a collector spent $416 million last month. I think it's the highest month ever in the hobby. Soccer really leading the charge right now with a lot of stuff. And I want to show you guys the soccer chart so you guys can get a better understanding of what's going on from a visual perspective. I think it's important to do that. Soccer's it has the highest rate of growth right now in the hobby. It's wild. I wasn't sure when we'd see this happen, but if you recall, I did mention last year that it was probably 8 or 9 months ago that we'd see an uptick again. I just wasn't sure if it would come this quick or it was going to be a little bit later, but it looks like it's come already. It's been a really fun ride. I haven't really sold anything though. That's the problem. So if you sell stuff, it's great. If you haven't sold stuff, then, that's where stuff can get kind of a little crazy. So let me just share the screen really quick with you guys. As you can see, soccer really holding us down, 46% rate of growth over the last month. Incredible numbers. And that market's obviously being driven by Ronaldo, Messi, and Lamine Yamal sales. But in the same respect, there's other stuff that's moving up. I think a lot of stuff is moving up in terms of value. And you even look at some of the base stuff. Some of the base stuff is really doing really well for soccer. So, we're talking Lamine Yamal rookies, really the base stuff. When I'm referring to base, you look at these indexes, everything's pretty positive right now. There's only a few kind of things that are down, such as hockey, like 1.5%, nothing crazy. WNBA is down almost 13%, but I think that's because I don't think they've had a release, but they had a big Caitlin Clark sale. 500 some K, patch auto, 1 of 1, I think it was. Just a crazy card, really nice card. I think that was at a flawless too, I'm pretty sure. But soccer's looking really, really, really healthy. And if we take a look, dive a little deeper here, guys. There you see the numbers, really impressive numbers, fantastic. What's going on? I'm excited. I think this has come a little early, but I also want to make sure for you new listeners that are coming into this, or new people listening, or new people coming into the hobby, just be careful. Don't overpay. Some stuff you can get again later on. If you're a collector, of course, it doesn't matter. My situation, for example, late last week, I purchased a Ronaldo, finally took my own advice from months ago that I never took. I should have taken it earlier, but finally purchased an '06 Ronaldo World Cup card, his first World Cup card, which I think him and the Messi card, they're significant cards to own. And I think they're undervalued. When you compare it to the 2014 Prizm, because we place so much emphasis on 2014 Prizm, I think those cards are undervalued considerably. And I think I've gone over that already in the last few episodes. I bought one raw and I paid, I think, 134 with shipping, and it looked really good. I got it off my slab. So I'm hoping that this card comes back and it can be graded. Obviously, getting a 10 is going to be really difficult. I think the gem rates are pretty tough on those. But if I get a 9 or an 8, I'll be significantly happy. I keep looking at my mic because I'm going self-conscious that it shuts off on me, but it's still on, which is good. So, hopefully the goal is I get an 8 or a 9, and I kind of hold that forever, or whatever. If I get a low grade, I'll probably still keep it too. I may even put in my showcase at that show in New Jersey to see if anybody bites on it, because it might be a good time to sell and try to buy it later at a lower price. I'm just not sure with stuff like that. A card like that is almost 20 years old. And the idea that there are going to be some raw ones out there that are in PSA 10 condition is kind of a misnomer. I don't think that's going to be the case. So that's what I did recently. I bought one of those, hoping it comes back fantastic. Shows up here and I can look at it and see what it's going to get. Usually I'm pretty spot on that stuff, but we'll see what happens with that card. So that'll be a fun journey to kind of show you guys in terms of where that card ends up, what grade it gets, or how I did. So that'll be fun. So that's soccer right now. Really exciting time to be in the hobby. But again, I encourage you guys to be careful. If you have stuff that you want to sell, I would sell stuff that you can attain later. I think it's important to do that. I'm just going to scroll down this list while I'm sharing so you guys can take a look at Card Ladder and see what's going on here with certain cards. But I think it's going to be important. Even the Mbappe Prizm World Cup, the base is doing well. And these two are kind of interesting cards, the Mbappe and the Holland, the base rookies. And that's a topic for another podcast for me to talk about, because I'm going to talk about those two. Those are important cards. And now I just lost my train of thought. But exciting times, but at the same time, be careful. We've seen this before. We've seen markets like this, COVID, where it boomed, and then people were in the hobby left the hobby, that I haven't seen or heard from them in years now. And it's, for me, it's usually just a call or a message. Hey, how's it going? What you've been up to? Anything? And I haven't heard from very many people. So for those that are still in, congratulations. You guys are truly doing this for the love of collecting. And it's important to realize that even in a market like this, where there's a rush for stuff and a rush for high prices, that you're still in the market and you're still looking for opportunities. That's encouraging. And some of you that may be coming back because the market's booming, welcome back. And for the new people, if I could give you advice, here's the advice I'm going to give you. If you see a card you really like and you collect that player and you really just love the card, love the player, just buy the card. You know, try to be financially, fiscally responsible in what you're doing, so you don't put yourself in a hole. But get that card if you want it. If you really want to keep it long term, I'm a long term kind of guy. But I have some Nev stuff now that I have too many Nevs things. So I bought that 3-color patch, auto on card, game used, wonderful card. I'll never sell that. I have the 1 of 1 at Golden, obviously. I think that closes this week. Hopefully that does well, because I plan on using that for some of his elite Donruss rookies, the ones with the RC badge. That's the goal there. And to try to pick up another card, but it's a card that many of you probably know is out there, but we forget it. We forget about it. We don't forget about the player, but we forget about it. It's actually not a card. It's a sticker rookie. And I'm talking about 90s stuff and the relevance that those cards play in it. Now, with the World Cup coming to America, and America kind of comprising, I would say 53%, I would say, of the share of trading cards worldwide, significant number, soccer being the biggest worldwide sport. You can imagine that this is even going to grow even further. You may even have guys like I saw at the National where they were just baseball, basketball, football. There were occasionally you would see a Lamine Yamal rookie card in those cases. So there's people that are dabbling now, like during the COVID era when cards boomed again. So I would, tread carefully. I bought a few things recently, and I'll kind of show those as they come up. I'm kind of falling into that trap where I'm looking for Ronaldo stuff to keep and hold. At this point, I'm kind of just like get some stuff that's, some of the silver stuff, early select, Prizm, even Prizm from 2018. I won't get that silver. Those silvers are going for big money, I think. Even though it says like this one here. Oh, this is a base. Oh, it says silver. No way. That didn't sell for that much. Oh yeah, it did. 2018. I think those are good opportunities too. Only the silver's only $138. That's a deal, I think. I think that's a $300-$400 card in my eyes, but that's not for everybody. So there's kind of your rundown there. But again, I encourage those that are coming in, and even those that have been in, to be careful, because you may end up thinking that you're getting a card that you're going to flip later for more money and you're going to lose on it. So just be careful, be smart, be very smart. Try to pick up things that you like, that you want to keep. But then the money is encouraging too. You may have something that may, like for me, like I have that Nevs, like I have Nevs Sapphire stuff in PSA 10s. I have the Peacock Auto. I have the Peacock Base that I actually might consider selling. The golds I won't. I'll keep those because I love those cards. The Immaculate I won't sell either. It's game worn, even though it's a sticker auto. The patch is game worn. Stuff like that I'll just keep. But I'm starting to look at, maybe I'll sell some of the other stuff that I still like, but I kind of just want to try to do some other things that are smart from a financial and a collecting aspect. There's a player I'll talk about later that I'm looking at, and I see some really kind of interesting dynamics in the valuation of that rookie sticker as compared to a Cristiano Ronaldo rookie sticker. And I'm going to show you that. And I'm hoping that the good listeners that listen to me all the time come on and listen, because I'm not going to post anything about that card, or that sticker, I should say. I keep saying card, it's a sticker, but I won't post anything about it on Instagram because I don't need anybody else finding out and driving that price up. That's my whole thing. I'm almost hesitant to even talk about it because I feel like I need to get one before anybody else gets one. Not that I'm selfish like that, but I don't want to create something. And I'm so confident in this that I wish I had the liquid funds to go out and just buy 3 PSA 9s of this player, or PSAs or PSA 7s to do this, but I just don't have that. And then when you hear like the David Adams owner talking about, for those that don't know, David Adams, they're a big wax, and they're in the industry. They've been in the industry for a long time, but he talked about the boom in the soccer market, particularly now. And maybe it's coming earlier, a lot earlier than we suspected, with the World Cup happening next summer. And maybe it's an even bigger boom as we get closer. I don't know. This is something we can't tell. The market's clearly being driven by Lamine, Cristiano, and Messi. It's clear. We're seeing record sales. We're seeing numbers that we didn't expect to see again after COVID. They're happening. So, I encourage you to watch the market, but remember, use your collector hat first before you go into something you shouldn't do. So that's kind of just a little kind of snippet in terms of where my mind's at, where my head's at right now with this stuff. But you'll see the cards on there that are in the index here. There's various Ronaldo and Messi cards that make up, like, this is a wonderful piece to have, a Messi first World Cup sticker, the Ronaldo first World Cup sticker. And these are, PSA 8s at $70, Messi at $126. Like, these are timeless pieces to have. We know long term these will do well. Here's something that people are ignoring: the 2010 World Cup stick cards. Significant still, even though they're second year, but they're significant. I may try to buy one from each World Cup just to have them as kind of a set, since it's kind of unique. It's every 4 years, so it's a fantastic piece. Just wanted to give you guys kind of a overall idea on that. Again, new records for the sports cards world in general. 416 million transacted last month, according to Card Ladder, on online platforms and private sales. But you have to remember, so some of the private sales aren't even reported, such as the national just happened. That was part of August, I think. Yeah, it was, I think. And even your local shows that happen monthly or weekly, that stuff is not reported online. It's just not, unless you actually email Card Ladder, let them know I sold a Ronaldo rookie for $300K. They don't report it. So that number is probably significantly higher. I would probably venture to say you can probably tack on another, I would say 20 to 30% on top of that with the transactions on at shows, but it's probably even higher. But I'm being very conservative when I say that. So again, reminding you guys, September 20, there's the card show in New Jersey at the Clark Recreational Center in Clark, New Jersey. I think it's about a half hour or 20 minutes from Newark. So it's relatively close to New York City as well. I'm going to be there. I have a table. Hopefully I'll have some branding so you guys can spot me. I'll have a big sign about the podcast or whatever I decide to do. I'll probably bring some stuff down just to show. And then I'll have some of those, like I said before, some of those, I guess, value boxes, $1 to $5 card, $1 to $10 cards maybe in there. There'll be stuff for kids and things of that nature. I'm thinking about making some packs for kids to try to grow this hobby even more, and giving them out. So that'll be a fun time. Also, it's free admission, guys. So that's a huge thing. Shout out to Hooked on Soccer Cards, who's organizing that with Sack Cards as well. I think Sack Cards has display cases for those that have tables. I know that tables have sold out, which is encouraging to say the least. It's going to be fantastic. The other thing is on the 26th, they are having a trade night, which the trade night is at the Holiday Inn down the street. There's a special room rate of $139.99. And I'm not sure if we need to use a code. Maybe you should message Paulo, Hooked on Soccer Cards, on Instagram, but I'll find out for the next episodes. I'm doing 2 more recordings this week with 2 guests, so it'll be fun to launch some more content. I wish I'd come up with this episode earlier, but Labor Day kind of threw things off with family and things of that nature. So I'm hoping to be at trade night as well. Ideally, I'm there. Begins at 8:30, I believe. And I think there's like a bar. So it'd be nice to kind of hang out and talk to people in the bar and discuss the market, discuss cards, discuss collection, discuss what you're buying, and really learning from people. I think it's significantly important to learn from each other. Learning is growing, right? So just a quick kind of another shout out to that event, All Soccer Cards and Collectibles show of New Jersey. Don't want to offend them. It's New Jersey at the Clark Recreational Center, Clark, New Jersey, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., I believe. So, and I'm continuously putting up some of their ads. Paulo's allowed me to promote the event for them, so which I'm happy to do. I'm here to help the communities. And also for all of you guys, please follow, share these episodes with others in your community. That means YouTube, Spotify, Apple, my Instagram posts. I really appreciate everybody that does that, really do. And then new people coming in, I'm getting to know. Fantastic. I answer everybody. I take the time to answer everybody's questions on Instagram. I think it's important because I actually learn from all of you when you do that. I think it's important to do that. Now, on this episode, I already gave you kind of my my take on what the market's doing. I think that was important, but I'm going to cover the Club World Cup, primarily the Prizm Prizm Club World Cup set that should have been released earlier, and it wasn't released earlier, which stinks. I wish it was released earlier. And I'm going to tell you why I don't think this set's going to be really significant. And I think it's because I mean, I'd love to get into breaks early on, but I think they're going to be expensive. And I think the set's not going to be significant because I think many people in the hobby didn't look at this tournament as important. They thought it was kind of a money grab by FIFA, which is probably true. But I think the cards are significant. And for me, I'm as selfish as I am. There's a João Neves Kaboom on this in the set, so that's going to be my kind of card that I want. The one card I want, and I would love an Estevan Kaboom as well. But we'll see if we can get that. That's going to be really expensive. But let's go over the checklist. There's the Kaboom checklist and the Color Blast checklist, and then there's the Dual Color Blast checklist. We'll start with the Dual Color Blast. These are interesting cards. 2 players on 1 card. They look pretty good, pretty clean. Antoine Griezmann and Julian Alvarez are going to be on one. That's a Atletico Madrid, which is a cool card if you're an Atletico Madrid fan. The next one, the Drogba and Hazard, a really good one for Chelsea fans. I think that's significant because it's 2 of the best players that Chelsea ever had, in my eyes. And I think Hazard didn't even win Champions League there, so... But it's still significant. He's one of the best players. I always say this. He's probably one of the most dominant Premier League players over that stretch of time when he played at Chelsea that I had ever seen. Technically gifted, just a guy that could come in and just take control of games. Incredible player. The next one was a Cole Palmer and Nicholas Jackson card. Now, to me, that card is no significance. Nicholas Jackson's going to Bayern Munich. Didn't really perform to his capabilities, I thought, at Chelsea, which is disappointing. I was pretty high on him initially. He just hasn't done it. Lucky me, I sold his stuff at the time when that move happened. So I was kind of lucky. I think I may have even sold it a little earlier. I had enough 10 out of his score product. Lautaro Martinez and Marcus Thuram, cool for Inter fans. Edgar Davies and Pavel Nedved, which is a really cool Legends one because they both had illustrious careers at Juve. That's a great card to have. I actually like that one. I'd probably want that one because that's an era that I really love in football. Zinedine Zidane and Zlatan, which that's another Juve pair. I just don't know if, I'm not sure if those are going to pair as in Juve kits or if it's going to be, I think it's probably going to be 2 in Juve kits, which that one would be cool too, for sure, even though they didn't play together. Next one is David Silva and Sergio Aguero together in Man City. Obviously, that's significant because those are 2 players that kind of started that kind of resurgence or relevancy of Man City in the Premier League and in Europe. 2 really storied players for that franchise. Erling Haaland and Kevin De Bruyne, we know what they did there. They won that treble. Jude Bellingham and Kylian Mbappe and the Real Madrid kid, that's going to be a cool one because I think that will be a significant card, especially if they go on to win 2 or 3 Champions Leagues together. As of now, Jude's already won one. Kylian has not won one yet. So that'll be a significant card. And then we have an Endrick and a Vinny Jr. card together, which that one could be a good one too. But the rumblings of possibly Vinny being kind of pushed out of Real Madrid next summer is a possibility and sold. I don't know. It's crazy. You hear all these rumors, but that could be a significant card because those 2 could win a Champions League together. And hopefully Endrick becomes what I think he can become. So we'll see what happens there. Now, the regular Color Blast checklist is the standard 1 player on the Color Blast. You have a lot of these are kind of repeat offenders. They're not offenders, but you know what I mean. Some of these guys have been featured on Color Blast. It's very similar to the Kaboom checklist too, as well. So Antoine Griezmann, Sergio Aguero, Diego Maradona, Julian Duranville, Ronaldo, Zlatan, Samu of Porto, which is an interesting one to include in there already. I guess they're pumping him up like I was pumping him up last summer. Dusan Vlahovic, Kenan Yildiz, excellent player as well. Juve youngster, Erling Haaland, Estevan, which will be a really cool one. Beckham, Endrick, Jude, Kylian, Rodrigo, Vinny Jr., Zinedine Zidane, Oscar Glock, and Madrid's new youngster signing, Franco Mastantuono. So you have, if you count the Real Madrid players on the Color Blast checklist, you have Endrick, you have Jude, you have Kylian, you have Rodrigo, you have Vinny, you have Franco. The Zidane, I'm not sure he'll be in a Real Madrid kit. We're not going to count him. So you have 6 players. That's almost 33% of the checklist, which is wild for a Real Madrid collector. So Real Madrid will probably be a big spot in this set to have to actually purchase. Kaboom, Griezmann, Alvarez, Maradona, Jamie Gittins, Cole Palmer, Samu from Porto is in there as well. Alessandro Del Piero, Dusan, Pavel Nedved, Zinedine Zidane, Zlatan, Erling Haaland, Kevin De Bruyne, João Neves, which shout out to you guys. If anybody pulls one of those, let me know. I'm going to definitely be interested, but don't hurt me. Do right by me, please. Lionel Messi, Estevan, David Beckham, Endrick, Jude Bellingham, Vinny Jr. So you have a lot of repeat players that have had Kabooms before. I like Kabooms. I've pulled one in my life from Makoku. and I sold it. I graded it. I think I got a PSA 9 on that card. I sold it for $200, I think, at the time, which I think was probably a little over a year and a half ago. Significant sale because he hasn't amounted to anything. The Nevs I'll definitely want, and I know it's going to be expensive right out of the gate, so it might be one of those where I might have to wait. Thing about kabooms, here's what you need to realize: is when you have repeat players, like a Maradona's had one before. I think Griezmann's had one. Zlatan, I'm pretty sure has had. Haaland's had one. De Bruyne's had one. I think Messi's obviously had a few. Estevan, I can't remember if they did one for him last year or not. I'm pretty sure they didn't, so this might be a good one to have as well. I think first kabooms are important, and I think it's one of the only inserts that has value in the hobby long term. But if you've got multiple kabooms, I don't think there's much value in that. However, I think in soccer, because we're still maturing, slowly maturing, I think over the long term, if you look at the other sports and what's happened in the other sports, for example, refractors from the in hockey, for example, like an atomic refractor, or just a refractor in baseball, like a Griffey refractor, or inserts out of Metal Universe for baseball and hockey. If you've ever looked, or basketball, I should say, if you ever looked at what some of those inserts are doing now, it's crazy. The amount of money they do is crazy. I think eventually, when the soccer hobby matures more, and you can come back to me in 10 years and tell me I was wrong, but I think some of these other lower significant kind of inserts, like the Renaissances, the stained glasses, the peacocks, I don't really consider that a insert. I think that's more of a parallel. I think that's what I classify it as. But so the peacocks, I wouldn't consider that an insert. So stained glass, Renaissance, the visionaries that Select has, and any others. I mean, the one big one I do like are the Merlin stuff, the Merlin Gamers cards. I like those a lot. I think those are going to be significant later down the road, though, just because you have to think of the fact that you have a lot of people that are into Pokemon. What happens as the soccer sport grows in America, the guys that are involved in Pokemon and that aren't involved in soccer but become soccer fans, they're going to look at that stuff and they'll see it's an intermingling of the two kind of hobbies they enjoy. So that's just my take. And that leads me kind of to the idea, when I go to the show in Jersey, I'm probably going to look for those. So if you have any, I don't care who they are, I'll buy them. I think, and they're cheap, so it's not like anything that's significantly expensive, but I think long term, that's an excellent play. And I'm not talking like 2 years from now. I think 10 years from now, people will want those. Will be significant cards. So again, Kaboom, I João Neves, get me a João Neves. I need one to add to the Neves collection, the growing Neves collection. Obviously, the one of one would be great, but the gold is just fine to me. I prefer the gold anyways over the green one of one. So it'll be interesting. I'd be interesting to know if you guys think or agree with what I'm saying in terms of these inserts having more significance down the road, because the soccer hobby is really many years behind the other aspects of the hobby, the other sports. So I think we'll get there eventually. So that's kind of my idea on FIFA Club World Cup, especially the inserts. I think, you'll have some stuff that might have rookie badges. I'm wondering if Rodrigo Mora will have a rookie badge on his, but they'll be significant because they'll be first Prizm cards. So like even João Neves will be his first Prizm card, and some other players too. But because of the significance or lack of significance of the FIFA World Club Cup by many of us in the hobby and talking to people, I enjoyed the games, but I did see kind of like, I see how this is insignificant to teams playing at this. Teams were tired, obviously, like a PSG was tired, they lost, but it is what it is. Played a lot of games. And I think, first Prizms is kind of oftenly, I don't want to say overused or overliked in the hobby or overrated. I think there's a significant difference between first Prizm and first Prizm World Cup for pricing. If you look at an EPL first Prizm card versus a first World Cup card, it's a significant difference in price. So keep that in mind. If you're looking at these or getting into breaks, don't overpay. I just don't believe these are going to be that significant. Maybe way, way down the road, but I just don't believe in that. So just be careful. I think it's important to do that. Now, the one thing I want to talk about that I haven't talked about, and I'm going to actually pull his index up shortly, is a rookie. I haven't done this yet for many players yet this season. And I always do it. Every year I try to talk about a few rookies. And today I'm going to talk about, of course, I'm going to go to the Portuguese League because I think it's a player that's been really exciting. A player that transferred to Porto in the end of last year in January. So no, it was actually the beginning of this year. January 2025. I'm talking about their new number 7 they have, the 19-year-old from Brazil. William Gomes, exciting player. I've watched almost every game this season so far. He's a winger, and he's really playing well. He even played really well in the Derby on that's Sunday or Saturday. I can't even. I think it was Saturday against Sporting. He scored a goal, but he's only 19, just turned 19 in March the 15th. He's from Northeast Brazil. He's about 5'7", has a low center of gravity. He's perfect in terms of the quickness and the explosive moves he has. He comes from Sao Paulo, where I think Porto paid about 12 million for him at the time, and I think they have 80 to 90% of their economic rights if he transfers again. And like I said, he's wearing number 7, a legendary number. He began in Sao Paulo's youth academy. He debuted for the senior team only in November 2023 against Fluminense. His skill set is of a typical Brazilian player of his position, pure flair, a footed winger, primarily plays on the right from what I've seen this year because he cuts in with his left and bangs the ball hard with his left. He can switch to the right and can even drop it, switch to the left and can even drop in the midfield as an attacking midfielder or forward. But his game is primarily built on the pace he has, excellent pace, the tight dribbling in small spaces. He's really good at that. And he's really good at creating chances out of nowhere. And I kind of saw that so far this season in many games. He's really an effective winger in terms of creating space. And I mean, a lot of wingers can create space. Now, this kid, he's a little different though. He creates space and he can get the shot off quickly. And that's something that I think is lacking, for example, in an Alejandro Garnacho. If you watch Garnacho, he gets a lot of his shots blocked. He's great at creating space, but then he gets a lot of his shots blocked because he's going to get the shot off quick enough or can't engage the ball as quick and with the same power as a player like William Gomes, I think. That's just my opinion, but that's what I see with my eyes when I do my eye test. And looking at William Gomes and looking at Garnacho. Garnacho shoots, but it's like he makes that extra dribble or that extra touch, and then the defender catches up because his release on the shot isn't quick enough. I don't know if William Gomes is just exceptional at that, but to me, from what I've seen so far, he is exceptional at that. He's got that Brazilian swagger for sure. He is capable of bursting past defenders. His left foot is very powerful. And so for me, his versatility, his speed, his composure in the final third make him a constant threat. And the games I've seen so far, that's what he is. He can also whip in crosses and create space, and he's really effective at taking defenders one-on-one. I've seen it so far this year. If you have time, go watch his highlights of his goals from this season so far. Or even take some time and watch a Porto game, even watch a first half just to see what I'm talking about. Because he is just really, really, really effective. But he's already, he's got 4 appearances so far. He's scored 2 goals. He's even created 7 key passes. He's really just, I'm seeing the attacking flair there. I'm scared as a Benfica fan that this guy's going to destroy us for some reason. He might not be Porto's best player, but I think he's probably up there. I think Rodrigo Mora is their most talented player, but this kid can play. He can play. And he came over in January. Like I said, he played 11 matches under that coach who was the Mexican guy. Was he Mexican? He coached Cruz Azul. I know that. Oh, yeah, he was Mexican. I'm pretty sure. I can't remember his name, but he only scored once in those 11 games. But I saw some stuff that I liked last year. But now, it's really difficult to come into Europe, play for a coach. He leaves after come into your mid-season, play for a coach. He leaves, and now you're playing for another canoe coach in a new system. So, I give him credit for a 19-year-old to do that, a player that just turned 19 in March. I'm impressed, really impressed with this kid. Is he going to be an elite player? I'm not sure. I think it's really early to tell that. We'll see if he can keep this momentum up. But, his speed is tremendous. His precision on finalizing, use so many words, on finishing his shots is incredible, I think. So he's a player to watch out for. He was the man of the match in the game this week in the Derby. No, his strengths and weaknesses, he is electric. I've said that. His acceleration, his agility, especially in open spaces. His dribbling really shines for me in those tight areas. And again, getting his shot off is crazy. His left-footed shot is clinical. I really mean that. And his versatility across the wings gives Porto that technical flexibility that he'll have. So I think he'll he'll score more. I think this guy is probably going to score 15 goals this year. I really do. I'm not sure how much of a distributor he is, because in terms of some of the weaknesses of his game, I think he gets um, caught a little bit making the wrong decisions, especially when he's under pressure. I think he can grow into that though and learn. He's still so young at 19 that he'll learn that that can be fixed with coaching and experience through the years. So I do believe you'll see him kind of excel and become better at those things. And in today's game, these wingers don't track back like they used to. It's just a different game. So that's like he's a defensive like kind of shortcomings in terms of coming back and helping. So if that's the type of player that you like, he's not that type of player, but not many are these days. So now the one thing about him, it's unique. He's only got one rookie card. It's in select this year. Is it called the 25-26 set, or is it 24-25? I think it's 24-25. That sounds right. Card number 49 in select. He doesn't have a chrome card. He doesn't have anything else besides these. So, and I'm going to show you guys some of the pricing thus far on some of these cards. Some of them are very cheap. I got a bronze checkerboard. I think I paid like under $5 for it recently. And then I bought the tie-dye for under. So, it's one of those things. I'm going to share my screen so you guys can see the sales, but it's one of those things where you have a player that, because I'm kind of a low risk, high ceiling guy, and I think this is one of these guys. But I think this is one of these guys that you're going to have to, I think, hold for like till next summer when he gets moved, because I think he will end up, if he continues to play the way he's playing, he's going to get moved. Porto is cleaning up their financial mess. Andres Villas-Boas is doing a really good job of that. But if this is a player that comes out, scores 15 goals, and has, let's say 6 assists, I think the big teams are going to come calling for him, explosive right winger. So, I would totally watch what this guy is going to do. So here's some cards of his. You'll see here. So Terrace Zebra, Prizm. I don't think these are actually numbered. The zebras this year, I don't know if they're numbered. I don't think they are this year, which I select really. The tie-dyes are of 25 this year. It's kind of weird. They change the numbers all the time, but sold for $36 on September 3rd. There's some significant cards. I know Paulo, the guy that organizes the Hooked on the All Soccer Cards and Collectibles show in New Jersey, he bought a gold for under, I think, $45 or under $50, that's the same pricing that Samu of Porto was on last year. And then we know what his stuff did. And I think his stuff will continue to do well. But this is a guy that you have an opportunity to get in now early enough where his stuff is still cheap enough. And there's some of his sales. You'll see him there on the screen. Some notable ones. Here's a bronze checker. Here's $15 already. I got mine for under $5. So I can make some money already. A tie-dye of 25 for $32 was sold. Here's another tie-dye for $50. And I assume these are after this or during the sporting game. Somebody went in there, was watching the game, and said, I'm going to buy one of those just to have one and get those. I'm looking for the golds just so we can pop some on the screen so you can take a look at them. Here's the white sparkle. Pretty clean card. Kind of a color match, I guess you could call it. Nice card. These are SSPs, obviously. That sold for $25. I know because I was in that auction and I was kind of shocked it sold for that much because I was like hoping that nobody knew, but people are starting to find out. Let's see. Gold. Here's a gold cracked ice. These gold cracked ice might be my new favorite parallels. I used to like the gold waves. They popped a lot, but that's a beautiful card that you're looking at there. Those are really nice cards to look at. I think they're beautiful cards. That gold Prizm. And I think at that price, I don't know if this is the one Paulo bought, $39. Wish I had seen that because I would have bought that card too. He's a Porto fan, so I get it. He probably saw those first few games and was like, man, this kid is pretty damn good. Desolation, which is a 15. Pretty nice cards. I don't like them as much as the gold cracked ice. The nice cards. Those dragon scale cards are cool too, but they're probably not for me in terms of a visual eye appeal. I think at this point they're starting to kind of. Here's a tie dye that sold for $10.51. Just wild. But beautiful card. The tie dyes are very popular, and I actually like the select design a lot this year. I like it better than last year's designs. That's William Gomes. Hopefully, some of you guys come in and try to grab some of this stuff because I think he's I don't want to use the word too cheap, but I think he's a low risk. Here's a true gold that sold for $46, which is a steal. I don't like to say that he's too cheap, but this is a guy that I think is really good, a really good player to watch out for this year. One of the guys that I would really actually think that this guy reminds me of is Arjen Robben, the Dutch international, played at Real Madrid. He played at Chelsea, played at Bayern, more successful at Bayern, obviously. But he was a right-footed. No, wait, was Robben righty or lefty? But Robben was noted for cutting in and being really explosive in cutting in and shooting and just quick release. This guy is very similar to Arjen Robben in terms of that kind of aspect of the game and being able to create his own shot, create his own space. Arjen Robben, he reminds me a little of him, even though he's a smaller player, but just the ability, the quickness to get across a defender and get that shot off quickly is significant enough for me to really feel like this player could be somebody special. And you think about Porto and the players that they've turned out of there, Falcao, Axel Martinez, Luis Diaz most recently, now Rodrigo Mora as well. So, we'll see what happens with him. I think he is a guy to take a look at for certain. Again, here's the gold, sold for under $50. I just hoping another one pops up and I can just go in and swoop and buy. Would love that. Would love that for sure. So, yeah, take a look at William Gomes, and I'll have more players to think about because I think these guys they're important. The rookie class is important to always look at. And there are guys, I know people are going crazy for Nico Paz right now, so that he's got a rookie in last year's products, but he's got a lot of rookies. Now, the thing about William Gomes, like I said, I don't know if I mentioned this before, he's only got one rookie card. It's that select rookie card. That's it. Everything else, nothing. He doesn't have a card in Chrome, doesn't have a card in. Did they release Sapphire already for this past year? I think maybe they didn't. I don't know. He doesn't have a Chrome in it. He doesn't have a rookie card in any other product. So this is a significant player to look out for. I really do. The other guys you could kind of compare him to. So like, obviously I think a young Arjen Robben is that because of the ability to do what he wants on the ball. Because of his explosive dribbling and his wicked left foot. Although Robben was he was right-footed, I believe, pretty sure. But I think he more so of a modern player right now. He reminds me of Kavicha more so. Both left-footed wingers with pace, creativity, and flair in one-on-one situations. So I know some scouts have compared him to Leão, but I don't think he's anything like Leão because Leão really operates on the left and explodes on the left. But I think these three players I've mentioned, they all have one thing in common is their explosive ability to go against players one-on-one, explode and release a shot quickly. Whereas, like I said, Garnacho doesn't do that. A lot of his shots get blocked. So I would take a look at this guy, guys. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I think this is a guy that potentially could be a very good investment for people to take a look at. And I use that term really loosely, obviously investment, because I do not provide investment advice. I just try to advise you on risk opportunities that provide high ceilings depending on, the player. A player like this where you can get his tie-dyes for under $30. I'm kind of like, you know what? $30 ain't going to kill anybody. So I would take a chance. All right. The next thing I'm going to talk about is a player from the 90s and the 2000s, a very important player, a player I think is the best striker ever, the best 9 ever, possibly in some people's eyes, by many coaches, by many former players, former teammates as well. A player that had technical ability, power, strength, acceleration, technique. He had it all. Of course, I'm talking about Brazilian Ronaldo. And I didn't even want to do this on the podcast, but I started thinking about this. I'm kind of like, you start to think about that 90s stuff, players from the 90s and the early 2000s and how undervalued they are. When I say undervalued is you have to think about these players and compare them to some of the players in other sports of that era. For example, what do I mean by that? Say Ken Griffey Jr., for example. Who is the best comparison to Ken Griffey Jr. in soccer from the 90s? You could probably say Ronaldo, but Brazilian Ronaldo was far more accomplished in terms of titles and winning. But You have to start thinking about players like that because of the significant values of their cards from that era, especially inserts, especially rookie cards. Like the Griffey PSA 10 Upper Deck has a huge pop count, but does significant numbers. And the reason this got me thinking was we all know the market is being driven by Lamine Yamal, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Lionel Messi. But I feel like there's players from that generation. I'm going to cover Ronaldo today, Brazilian Ronaldo R9, that are undervalued because the way I'm looking at this is that those cards of those players from the 90s, specifically, we're talking the Henrys, we're talking Totti, we're talking Ronaldo, we're talking even Ronaldinho, you can throw in there the early 2000s, even the Figo early stuff, Zidane, Stoichkov, the Barcelona player. Who else? Marco Van Basten, Roberto Baggio. Roberto Baggio is a good one. That's a good call. Paolo Maldini. These guys all have cards in the 90s and early 2000s. And why that's significant? Here's why. Our hobby is maturing. If you look at cards in the other sports, the 40s, the 50s, 60s for baseball, for hockey, I think it's the 50s, the Parker set. If you look at basketball, it's Fleer, 86 Fleer with the Jordan rookie, or even the Magic Bird rookie 79-80. Those cards took a while to kind of take off. I mean, I remember you could have bought a Bird Magic rookie, I think for like $75 in the early 90s. I think, if I'm correct. I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that. But basketball at that point, basketball cards had been around for less than 10 years or maybe a little over 10 years because they had some stuff in the 70s. And you have to start to look at the behaviors of the other sports and what happened there and what's happening now. All right. And if you guys think I'm wrong, tell me. I want to know why I might be wrong. Just tell me. And with the world appeal of football, we have an interesting kind of dilemma on our hands in terms of, do we collect the players of today or do we look at the players of the past because they're undervalued? I think they're undervalued because you have to put it this way. Players that have cards or stickers in the 90s, they are like the players of the 40s, 50s, and 60s in baseball. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I think they're significant. Now, I don't own any of that. I own some stuff, but not really significant stuff. So that's where my focus is going to start going on a lot of this stuff because I think it's important, very important to start to think about these things. Like, let me know your ideas on this, but I'm going to show you guys some data. All right. And I'm not going to post any of this stuff on Instagram quite yet. I might wait a little bit because I'm going to try to get one of these because I think it's important for me to try to do that. So let me share my screen again. Let's look at Cristiano Ronaldo stuff. All right. So you'll see here Cristiano Ronaldo, and there's the valuations that Card Ladder has on the various stickers of his rookie. And I use stickers because the player with Ronaldo, Brazilian Ronaldo, I wanted to use stickers because the sticker is more important. It's apples to apples, stickers to stickers. Total population is 240. There's 23 gems. It's a 9.5% gem rate. You have 23 PSA 10s. Card Ladder values it at 100K. 23 PSA 9s. Card Ladder values it at 19.75K. Now, Ronaldo. Let's talk about Ronaldo a little bit. Let's talk about his accomplishments primarily and why he is significant. Now, think about this. He was FIFA World Cup winner in 1994 and 2002. He was a runner-up in 1998 at the World Cup. He won the Copa America in 1997 and 1999. He won the FIFA Confederations Cup winner in 1997. He was FIFA World Player of the Year 1996, 1997, 2002. Ballon d'Or two-time winner in 1997 and 2002, the European Golden Shoe in 96 and 97, the FIFA World Cup Golden Boot in 2002. Those are some significant achievements on the international level and individually. As a club, he won a Champions League with Real Madrid. He won an Intercontinental Cup with Real Madrid. He was La Liga champion 2 times. He won the Spanish Cup once. He won the Dutch Cup once. He was included in the FIFA 100 list of greatest living players by Pele. He was on the Ballon d'Or Dream Team, which was awarded to, named by France in 2020. He's in the Brazilian Football Museum Hall of Fame. He's in the United Nations Development Program as a Goodwill Ambassador. So the guy's got loaded accomplishments. Now, why did I bring up Portuguese Ronaldo against that Ronaldo? Look at this data, right? Now we're going to look at, and this will be the chart I create eventually will be based on this. Now let's look at Brazilian Ronaldo, R9, and why this is important, because you're going to see some really crazy similarities here, but you're going to notice something very, very, very different. Here's Ronaldo stuff. Okay, Brazilian Ronaldo, 250 total population, so very similar. A lot less total gems, and the gem rate's a lot less too. The valuation here is significantly off. You're talking almost 20K for a Ronaldo PSA 9 sticker, and for Ronaldo, Brazilian Ronaldo sticker PSA 9, $6,250. If you told me I had 19K or 20K to buy, I could buy one Ronaldo PSA 9, or I could buy three Brazilian Ronaldo PSA 9s, I would probably buy the three PSA 9s because of the value. This sticker should be significantly or close to Cristiano's value because of his accomplishments on the field. He's a two-time World Cup winner, World Cup Golden Boot winner. Ronaldo has not done that. Cristiano has not done that. This guy's significant history, significant in the game. I just don't understand what's going on here. So I think there's a huge opportunity here. I wish I had like $6,000 to go and buy a PSN, and I would buy one. I would probably pay $8,000, $9,000 for that if I had that kind of money. I would. I'm convinced that this is probably, I think, a PSA 10 that I haven't seen any sales. I tried to find some. I have not seen any. Whoever owns those is sitting on a gold mine. I think the first time they go to market, I think that that sticker probably sells, I would say, for at least 80K. I think, if not more. I think it should. And then the nines, I think, should be easily as expensive as a Ronaldo Cristiano rookie sticker. So I'm not going to publish anything on Instagram. I'm going to wait a little bit because I want to make sure that you guys that are listening get first dibs on this. I just don't think, I think there's something wrong here. This stuff, and I'm hoping I don't even bring this up on the recorded podcast that I'll have in the next few days with the two guests, because they have some pretty good reach. I don't want to bring this card up at all, or this sticker, I should say, because I think we should all try to get one or two of these, even in the low grade. And what got me thinking about this was my good friend Albert in New Jersey, who I hope to meet at the show, who AK underscore collection 27. I was looking at his profile recently, and he posted one of these back on the 10th of August. So it was like a month and a half ago, or a month ago, that I saw that, and I was like, oh man, he got one. He's so smart. Because I've been thinking about this for a while, especially with this explosion. I'm kind of like, man, I think this is so undervalued. The low pop, 200, only 250 graded, similar to Ronaldo's, less gem rate than Ronaldo. They're just so rare right now. And I know Oak City up in Canada, shout out to him, he collects Ronaldo. I don't know if he's got any of these. I should probably look at his profile and see if he does have any of these. But I think this is a significant piece of football memorabilia, collectible to have for anybody like me who grew up watching him play and how explosive he was and how excellent he was. I don't know, guys. I don't know what else to tell you. I think this is a solid play. Like I said, if I had 20,000, I would probably buy three of these. If I could find three PSA 9s, I'd buy all three of them versus buying the Cristiano sticker. And I love Cristiano, but if you're in this to make some money to buy other cards or other stickers, this would be probably the play to make if you had that kind of liquid money to do it. So this is it right here. I think this is a significant opportunity. I really believe that. If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong in my analysis here, but I think this is a significant one. I'm not trying to pump anything because I don't own this card. I'm just trying to give you guys more education and more awareness on stuff out there that could be impactful to help you in your collecting journey. So, we'll see what happens. I'm not going to post anything. I'm going to do my best not to post anything because I don't want to overinflate. I mean, not that I have that many people that listen to me anyways, but enough people listen and the word gets around quickly, and then people dive in, and people may be diving in already. I don't know. That's the thing. So even like, I haven't seen any PSA 10 sale, but there was on the 11th, there was a best offer taken at $6,250 for a PSA 9. So somebody knows what they're doing. Here's a BGS 8 for $1,000 back in June. Somebody got a really good deal there. You had some raws sell for 150, 180. Again, you're risking, this is a PSA 3. This is a raw. When you buy raw, you're risking a low graded card. But again, these are at this point 30 years old. So it's going to be hard to gem, but you never know. You never know. You might be on the right side of history here and find a perfect one and grade it. I would just like to have one because I think these are ones that you kind of just keep in your collection for years. And then we have these. I don't know if these are stickers or cards, actually. These 94 Panini football as well. I think they're from the same set, but I think they're actually cards. They're like an insert or something. I'm not positive. PSA 9 sold for 2,800 back in April. Somebody got a steal. Yeah, guys, I'm convinced this is it. This is the play right now. I think I'm gonna try to get there. How am I gonna get there? I don't know. My Nevs 1/1 black sells on Saturday. Hopefully, I have some funds from that to get into one of these. Maybe a low end one, maybe a PSA 4 or 5 or something like that, just so I have one. Obviously, I wish I could buy a PSA 9 or a 10, but I just don't think that's gonna be possible. But these have been smack sitting here in our face, and we just haven't been paying attention because we're so distracted by the new stuff that comes out, the new prospects. Again, you could do this exercise on any player. I'm gonna start doing these every week. I'm gonna start looking at the vintage market a little bit more. I consider this stuff vintage. I know some don't, but I do. I'm gonna start looking at this stuff a little bit closer. I think as the World Cup pops up upon us, you'll see more people that will be interested in learning about the legends of the game and why they're important. And he was significantly important, as you know. So I would start looking at, like I said before, the Marco van Bastens, the Roberto Baggios, the Maldinis, the Ronaldinho's, even Zidane's, the early stuff, the Figos, Rui Costa, Pirlo rookies, Xavi at Barcelona is a big one. I think his stuff is really severely underpriced, even though he never won a Ballon d'Or, but I think he won so many other titles that they're important. Xavi, Iniesta. There's just so many really good players. And when I talked to Paulo Hooked on Soccer Cards about this, I told him that, if you look at the players from the late 90s and into the early 2000s, I think the best 11 from that generation would destroy today's 11. I really believe that. I think there were better players down at that point in time. There's better quality players. Though the game has changed quite a bit, but I think we are coming up on an era where the soccer is going to be really relevant with the World Cup being held in the United States, with sports cards booming, where people are going to start asking questions. Who are the legends? And you think about baseball, Mickey Mantle, New York Yankee legend. And that's kind of like Ronaldo, if you think about it, Brazilian Ronaldo. Mickey Mantle was a winner. Statistics, he was up there. Ronaldo's up there in statistics too. Not the top, obviously, but also not the bottom. Start to think about these things, guys. And you may not have thought about this, or you may have, and you're already doing it. So I hope you are. But I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to post anything until this podcast kind of like weathers a little bit. I'll look at the views, and if the views aren't up there, I'm going to post it because I think people need to be aware. And that's why I'm here to educate. I think it's important. All right. So 3 tries on this episode. Finally got it done. I feel accomplished. I keep looking down like this because I'm making sure my mic is on, and it is on. So this is going to go up. So you are either going to listen to this on Wednesday evening or Thursday morning, hopefully on your way to work or during your break, or if you're not working, chilling at home, listening while you're cleaning, whatever you're doing. But there will be another podcast releasing either Thursday night or Friday morning, and there'll be another one that might pop on the weekend or Monday next week. We're pumping this stuff out. We're getting people on that are interesting to talk to about their journey in the hobby and what's going on. Again, when I have people on, it's to educate and help people learn more. And please tell me when somebody sucks, or like if they don't have them back, or or if you love somebody, have them come back. I would love to actually have a co-host, but it was nice doing kind of a solo episode this time, kind of running the show here. 2 things. Don't forget the show in New Jersey coming up September 27th, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Free admission. Tables are sold out. There are international sellers coming and domestic sellers going to be there. So I think I have some of the guys if you guys are participating at the show and haven't sent me your logo, send me your logo. I'll promote you guys as well in your presence. Also, any of those guys that want to be on the pod, let me know. We'll get you on. Even if you want to do just like a 10-minute segment, I'm happy to do that. There is a trade night the night before, September 26th at the Holiday Inn. I think I mentioned, but I'm going to mention it again, $139.99 per room. If you're going, let me know. I want to go. I'm going to try to make it for trade night, like I said earlier, just to meet and kind of interact with people with the community. Ultimate 90 website will be coming back shortly. I'm redirecting that focus to have the podcast content, the Instagram content, and then I have original pieces written as well. But I think I'm going to stick to the soccer card market. I think I was trying to do too much with the culture stuff. But let me know if you liked that website, where it was going, what we were doing. We're doing some pretty good revamps in terms of design and how it looks. But remember, if you guys could share, spread the word about my podcast on Spotify, on Apple, on YouTube, and rate my show. Please give me good positive reviews. It helps me. I'm trying to get more of a following. The last month has been incredible, actually. So I appreciate all the support you guys give me. I'll never ignore any of you guys. You guys are kind of the day one people that have always been here or coming in. And for those coming into the hobby that are new, if you have questions, just ask. Happy to take any of those DMs on Instagram. A lot of people have my phone number too. Happy to chit chat, chop it up if we need to. But other than that, yeah, hopefully you guys are all following me and doing all that crazy subscribe, like, share, whatever thing. And I hope to see you guys at that show in Jersey. And hope you guys are all taking care of yourself. Summer's over. It's kind of sad, but football season's here. So until the next episode, which probably drop Friday this week, so you're probably gonna listen to 2 podcasts in a row, 2 days in a row from me. We're trying to dominate here. The space soccer cards right here. That's right. I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna tell you. This is the only place for soccer cards where you can get education, correct education. I like the other guys, but they're different. I'm different, and this is good. There's plenty of room for others in the space. And let me know if you ever want to come on. Let me know. I'm happy to have more people on. But much thanks for your support as always. See you guys.